What's up guys, Raging Fiip here, aka BLF. Today we're going to explore the similarities between two films you wouldn't think have anything in common at all. The Matrix and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
What? How?
That's right, Stephen Herek's time-traveling comedy adventure from the late 80s and the Wachowski sci-fi action flick from the late 90s are more alike than you'd ever know. So let's get started. Take the red pill, and we'll find out how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy, because Kansas is going bye-bye.
Number 1. Let's start with the most obvious. Both films star Keanu Reeves. Although he shares the lead role in Bill and Ted's, you can't deny Keanu steals the spotlight as the jovial time-traveling airhead named Ted Theodore Logan. 10 years later, Reeves shined even brighter as the one and only kung fu kickin' hacker-turned-savior named Neo. Number 2. Both films were released in the last year of their respective decades. Bill and Ted's premiered in 1989, while The Matrix came out in 1999.
What is this place?
More important than what is when.
When?
You believe it's the year 1999.
Now let's take a closer look at quite a few astonishing similarities between Ted and Neo. Number 3. Both characters are mentored by a mysterious man who wears a trench coat and sunglasses. Morpheus, played by Lawrence Fishburne, reveals the truth of the real world to Neo, teaches him how to manipulate the artificial world of the Matrix, and guides him to eventually become the prophesied savior of humanity. While Rufus, played by the late George Carlin, equips Ted with a time-traveling phone booth and shows him how to use it in order to pass history class.
We're history.
Number 4. Both characters are vital to the future of humankind. Although it takes him some time, Neo eventually accepts his role as a savior of the human race, the one who will end the war against the machines and bring freedom to the people, while Ted, along with Bill, is responsible for creating music that brings peace and harmony to the universe.
Eventually, your music will help put an end to war and poverty. It will align the planets and bring them into universal harmony, allowing meaningful contact with all forms of life.
Number 5. Both characters are late. After a strange night at a bizarre gothic club and an encounter with Trinity, Neo wakes up to his alarm clock, realizing he's late for work. Bill and Ted also realize they're late, but in this instance, for school, after jamming out in their garage. Notice how both scenes are structured similarly, starting by focusing on a clock, followed by the characters realizing they're late.
Uh-oh, we're late. For what? For school, dude. Oh yeah.
And ending with an establishing shot of the workplace and school. As a bonus, both scenes take place towards the beginning of the movies.
You have a problem with authority, Mr. Anderson.
Number 6. Both characters are lectured and given ultimatums by authority figures. Neo, also known as Mr. Thomas Anderson, is first lectured by his boss at Metacortex, who threatens to fire Neo if his tardiness continues. Similarly, Bill and Ted are first lectured by their history teacher, Mr. Ryan. The dim-witted duo are warned that if they don't get an A+ on their final history report, both of them will fail the class.
I have no choice but to flunk the both of you.
Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Mr. Reinhardt, perfectly clear.
Understand?
Yes, sir.
Neo is further lectured by none other than Agent Smith, who attempts to intimidate the computer programmer with a history of his criminal hacking records. Ted is also further lectured, this time by his own father, who threatens to send him to military school if he fails out of San Dimas High.
You know what that would mean, don't you, Ted?
That I would have to go to Oates Military Academy.
Number 7. Both Ted and Neo are skeptical of the truth. When Rufus first meets Bill and Ted and offers them his help, the two friends are dumbfounded. But even after meeting future versions of themselves, Ted is still hesitant to accept the offer.
No way. No way.
It's not until Bill shares his perspective that Ted is convinced to go along for the ride.
What if we were lying? Why would we lie to ourselves?
Likewise, Neo has a hard time accepting Morpheus's revelation of the Matrix and the real world.
I don't believe it. It's not possible.
However, All it takes is a little vomit and nap for Neo to get past his denial and realize how the red pill really is a hard one to swallow. Number 8. Both Ted and Neo are distracted by a hot blonde. Although she's not actually a real person, the stunning blonde in the red dress takes Neo's attention away from Morpheus' lecture during a training exercise.
Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
Ted is just as distracted while studying history with Bill when his best friend's blonde, smoking hot stepmom enters the room.
It's your mom, dude.
Number 9. Both Ted and Neo hook up with brunettes. They both may be distracted by blondes, but brunettes are the ones that steal their hearts. Chemistry between Neo and Trinity is apparent throughout The Matrix, but it's this climactic kiss that seals the deal and brings Neo back to life. For Ted, it was love at first sight.
Ted, I'm in love, dude.
But he also had to wait until the end of the movie to hook up with his medieval princess babe. Number 10. Both Ted and Neo are believed to be killed but actually survive. After putting on medieval suits of armor, Bill and Ted engage in a ridiculous yet fun and playful sword fight. This ends up with Ted falling down a flight of stairs. At the bottom, a guard sees the body of armor laying on the ground and pierces it through the chest with his sword. Believing his best bud to be dead, Bill expresses his sorrow before brashly attempting to take on the guard. About to be stabbed himself, Bill is suddenly saved by Ted, who pops up out of nowhere. The explanation to his survival?
Ted, you're alive! Yeah! I fell out of my suit when I hit the floor!
Yeah, we'll just let that one slide. I guess. Neo's death scare was a bit more dramatic. When Agent Smith gets in between Neo and his way out of the Matrix, he empties a full clip into the protagonist's chest. Similar to Bill's reaction, Morpheus finds himself in disbelief. But as mentioned before, it's Trinity's kiss that resuscitates Neo's heart and keeps it beating. Number 11. Both characters sneak around office buildings and hide in cubicles. Both scenes start off the same way. Neo slowly peers over the edge of his cubicle at his workplace, then quickly ducks down when he sees a group of agents and police officers. Equivalently, Bill and Ted peer over the edge of a counter at a police station, then duck down quickly when they see Ted's father. Neo continues to sneak his way around the office, avoiding being seen from the authorities by staying low and using cubicles as cover. Bill and Ted do exactly the same, also staying low and also using cubicles as cover. Adding more to this similarity, Neo's actions are guided by Morpheus over the phone, while Bill and Ted are instructed to duck at just the right moment by a message left by their future selves. Number 12. Both characters save their friends from captivity. Why were Bill and Ted sneaking around a police station in the first place? To rescue their historical figure friends from jail after they were all arrested at the local mall. Likewise, Neo saves his friend from imprisonment. After being convinced he's not the one, and believing Morpheus to be more important to the cause of humankind than himself, Neo decides to mount a suicidal rescue mission to save his mentor, who was captured by agents. Number 13. Characters in both movies travel via telephone. As we all know, Bill and Ted's mode of transportation through space and time is an old-school telephone booth. While the characters in The Matrix don't use telephones to journey through time, they do use them to transfer their minds from The Matrix back to the real world. Naturally, both films contain suspenseful scenes where their main characters use these telephones to narrowly escape danger. Such as this scene where Bill, Ted, and Billy the Kid almost get shot by cowboys. Or this scene where Trinity is nearly shot by Agent Smith. Number 14. Characters in both movies travel through tunnels with electrical sparks. I don't really know how to explain this one except by showing you these visual images. Here's the Nebuchadnezzar traveling through the old underground tunnels of the real world in The Matrix. And here's the phone booth traveling through the circuits of history in Bill and Ted's. See the similarities? And of course, it's Keanu Reeves' character in both movies that ask,
Where are we?
Rufus! Where are we, dude?
And last but not least, number 15.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Well, that just about does it with the similarities I've discovered and analyzed between The Matrix and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Feel free to comment below with your own thoughts and opinions. What do you think about my comparisons? Can you think of any more? I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching. And until next time, be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.
Thank you, San Dimas High!